Hi, today we are to discuss about Lesson 1, Policies and Issues on Internet and Implications to Teaching and Learning. Here are the lesson outcomes. Number 1, name examples of ICT policies which are applicable to teaching and learning. Number 2, discuss some issues that relate to the ICT policy. New technologies have become central to the life of every individual in this planet. Whether you are talking on the phone, sending an electronic mail, going to the bank, using the library, watching news on television, going to the doctor, catch a flight, or seeing a movie, you are using ICT. Would your life as a teacher be also influenced by the new technologies? Should we live our lives to be controlled by technology? Or should we control the utilization of technology in our lives? But how? One way of enhancing and regulating the use of ICT is to formulate and implement policies to guide appropriate decisions. Now let us have the definition of ICT policy. The Oxford English Dictionary has defined policy as a course of action adopted and pursued by a government, party, ruler, or statesman. Its operational definition of policy is a plan of action to guide decisions and achieve outcomes. Thus, ICT policies are needed to put a roadmap or course of actions to be pursued and adopted by various governments, organizations, entities involving ICT. These include principles and guidelines in the use of ICT, which cover three main areas. First one is telecommunication or telephone, the second one is broadcasting or radio and television, and the last one is the internet. Now let us have the new ICT technologies. More recent technological innovations increased the reach and speed of communications, which can be grouped into three categories. Number 1 is information technology. This includes the use of computers, which has become indispensable in modern societies to process data and save time and effort. What are needed will be computer hardware and peripherals, software, and for the user, computer literacy. Second is telecommunication technologies. These include telephones and the broadcasting of radio and television, often through satellites. Telephone system, radio, and TV broadcasting are needed in this category. The third one is networking technologies. The best known of networking technologies is Internet, but as extended for mobile phone technology, Voice over Internet Protocol or VoIP, satellite communications, and other forms of communication are still in their infancy. In addition to Internet, this category also includes mobile telephone, cable, DSL, satellite, and other broadband connectivity. The DICT Roadmap. In our country, the Department of Information and Communication Technology, or the DICT, has formulated a roadmap to guide all agencies in the utilization, regulation, and enhancement of ICT. Each project has corresponding policy statements and guidelines. The ICT for Education or ICT4E is a program under the DICT that supports all the efforts of the education sector in incorporating the use of ICT as well as determining and gaining access to the infrastructure like hardware, software, telecommunications facilities, and others, which are necessary to use and learning technologies at all levels of education. Among the policy recommend programs that have applications to education, teaching, learning are Number 1. ICT in Education Master Plan for all levels, including a national roadmap for faculty development in ICT in education. A national framework plan for ICTs in basic education was developed. Number 2, Content and Application Development through the Open Content Education Initiative, or OCEI, which converts DepEd materials in interactive multimedia content, develop applications used in schools, and conduct students and teachers competitions to promote the development of education-related web content. Number 3, PDNet is a walled garden that hosts educational learning and teaching materials and applications for use by Filipino students, their parents, and teachers. All public high schools will be part of this network with only DepEd-approved multimedia applications, materials, and mirrored international sites accessible from schools' PCs. 4. Established community e-learning centers called e-Eskwela for out-of-school youth, providing them with ICT-enhanced alternative education opportunities. 5. E-Quality program for tertiary education through partnerships with state universities and colleges to improve quality of IT education and the use of ICT in education in the country, particularly outside of Metro Manila. 6. Digital Media Arts Program, which builds digital media skills for government using open source technologies. Particular beneficiary agencies include the Philippine Information Agency and the other government media organizations, the Cultural Center of the Philippines, National Commission for Culture and Arts, and other government art agencies, state universities and colleges, and local government units. 7. ICT Skills Strategic Plan, which develops an interagency approach identifying strategic and policy and program recommendations to address ICT skills demand supply type. All the 7 programs were guided by the roadmap that embeds policy statements that relate to education, specifically in the enhancement of human development for teaching and learning.
Access and civil liberties are two sets of issues in ICT policy which are crucial to the modern society. Civil liberties refers to human rights and freedom. These include freedom of expression, right to privacy, right to communicate, and intellectual property rights. Access to the use of the internet and ICT. Access means the possibility for everyone to use the internet and other media, and also infringement to civil liberties or human rights. So, what are specific internet issues on internet policies that have relationship to civil liberties of human rights? So, first issue is about freedom of expression and censorship. So, when we say freedom, it is a power to speak, act, or to think as one wants without hindrance. Under international human rights and convention, all people are guaranteed the right for free expression. So, one reason is that freedom of expression matter a lot to most people because it involves both the freedom to express our beliefs and values. Second is that freedom of expression typically promotes the discovery of and the respect for the truth. When we say censorship, it is a control of suppression of what can be accessed, published, or viewed in the internet enacted by regulator or on their own initiative. According to William Westmoreland, without censorship, things can get terrible, confused in the public mind. Moving forward to the second issue, which privacy and security. When we say privacy, it is a safeguarding of personal data. And when we say security, it is a safeguarding of users' identity. So there are several types of privacy. First is our personal privacy. Second is our privacy of communication. This refers to the protection from interference with communication over the phone and internet. Third is information privacy, related to the use of computers and communication systems which are able to hold and process information about large numbers of people at high speed. Guys, take note, that it is important to ensure information and use with a purpose, also with a consent. I think that's all for my part. The other issue will be discussed by Miss Cabral. So, Miss Cabral, the floor is yours. Thank you. Maayong hapon.
In today's digital age, the topic of surveillance and data retention has become increasingly pertinent, with profound implications for individuals, society, and even the world at large. The use of electronic communications has given rise to various forms of surveillance, including direct and indirect methods, as well as the storage and use of data, which presents both opportunities and challenges. One significant facet of surveillance in the modern era is indirect surveillance. Unlike direct surveillance, where there is direct contact between the surveillant and the subject, indirect surveillance relies on tracing and analyzing evidence of activities. The most powerful manifestation of indirect surveillance is data veillance. Data veillance involves the monitoring of an individual's activities through the use of personal information, often collected without the subject's knowledge or consent. This practice can have far-reaching consequences, especially when it comes to privacy and personal freedoms. Furthermore, data retention plays a crucial role in this context. Data retention involves the storage and utilization of information obtained from various communication systems. These data may include records of emails, phone calls, text messages, and internet usage, among others. Governments, corporations, and even hackers may collect and retain this data for various purposes, including security, marketing, or even malicious activities. One of the key challenges associated with surveillance and data retention is that it is exceedingly difficult to prevent. However, it is possible to implement countermeasures to make surveillance more challenging. This concept is often referred to as counter-surveillance. In the context of computers and electronic communication, it is commonly known as information security. These measures may include using encryption, virtual private networks or VPNs, and other technologies to protect one's online communications and data. The issue of e-pollutants from e-waste is a pressing concern in today's technology-driven world. The rapid growth of the information and communication technology industry has led to the generation of a substantial amount of electronic waste or e-waste. This e-waste primarily includes terminal equipment used for computing, broadcasting, telephony, and peripherals such as PCs, laptops, TVs, radios, phones, printers, and scanners. The problem is further exacerbated by the fast turnover of electronic equipment driven by constant software improvements. One of the major challenges associated with e-waste is the toxic materials it contains, which cannot be simply disposed of by crushing or traditional means. These toxic materials poses serious environmental and health risks when not managed properly. The concerning trend is that e-waste is increasing in both developed and developing countries. What's even more alarming is the unethical practice of shipping electronic waste from industrialized nations to developing countries, often using environmentally irresponsible methods. This practice exacerbates the issue on a global scale and puts vulnerable communities at risk. Addressing the problem of e-pollutants from e-waste requires a multifaceted approach. Several key remedies can help mitigate this issue. The first remedy is standardization and regulatory measures. Implementing standards and regulation can help increase the lifespan of electronic equipment. This would encourage manufacturers to produce more durable and upgradable products, reducing the frequency of obsolescence.
Next is efficient toxic component extraction. Developing effective methods of extracting and managing toxic components from e-waste is crucial. This not only reduces the environmental impact of disposal but can also enable the recycling of valuable materials. Next is mandatory recycling. Enforcing recycling measures for both consumers and equipment vendors is essential. Governments and industry players should work together to establish and enforce recycling programs to reduce the volume of e-waste ending up in landfills. If e-pollutants from e-waste are not adequately controlled, the consequences could be dire. The unchecked growth of e-waste has the potential to significantly contribute to climate change, harm human health, and strain the Earth's capacity to manage solid waste. It is essential for stakeholders, including governments, businesses, and consumers, to recognize the urgency of this issue and take action to ensure responsible e-waste management and minimize the negative impacts on the environment and the society.
How do the policy guidelines, projects, and issues relate to the teaching and learning? There are great implications of this lesson to both the teachers who are teaching and the learners who are learning. For the teachers and teaching, number one, guide the teachers in what they should teach that relate to the ICT and how to teach it. Since ICT development comes so rapid and fast, teachers might be overwhelmed by its rapid speed. Temperance in its use is a caution that should be looked at. Number two, technology should never replace any human teacher. The tools are support instructional materials for the teachers which are available for use. The teacher should learn how to appropriately use them. The human touch of the teacher is still a vital component in teaching. Teachers should always be reminded that there are always limitations in the use of different gadgets and tools. Number three, there are rules and regulations that govern the use of technology. Just like some cautions should be observed to protect individual privacy. As teachers, you must be aware that the use of technology may jeopardize your privacy and security. So we should be aware of this. The fourth is all the issues and many more shall be part of the teaching content. The issues that we may encounter in using technology should be part of the teaching content. As a teacher will be encouraged to use technology in teaching. So every teacher are encouraged to use that technology. For instance, the PowerPoint, the Zoom, the Gmeet, these tools are used in the teaching. So, teachers are really encouraged to use this technology. Alright, let's proceed for the learners and learning. Number one, learners are more advanced than some of the teachers. That's right. The learners of the 21st century are even more advanced than some of the teachers. However, learners still need guidance in how to use the regulations of technology use, as there are positive and negative effects of technology use in learners should know the difference. Learners should not only know the benefit of technology use, but they should know how they can be protected from the hazards that technology brings to their lives. Number two, learners should take advantage of the potential of learning skills support, because in that way they can derive such as the development of higher order thinking skills, the development of learning communities through collaboration, the enhancement of skills to manage the vast resources as 21st century learners, and many more. Number three, both teachers and learners should be mindful of e-waste. Both the teachers and learners should be mindful of the e-waste that are being thrown away to the land and the atmosphere, because it may cause the society and as well as the technology to be harmful for the learners and to the teachers. Okay, let's go to safety issues on the use of ICT, including safety routes. Using technology is not a risk by itself, but how it is used will be vulnerable to risk. When improperly used, it will danger to the users in school and at home. Some risk in the use of ICT and e-networking. Technology is a phenomenon seem uncontrollable. Despite the many benefits for teaching and learning, there are also negative effects or influence on the learners. Hence, as future teachers, you have to be aware of how to safeguard learners in the school communities where they spend most of their waking hours, and also in their homes or facilities that provide opportunities to use of digital technologies like internet cafes. Safeguard and protection should be primordial rule of the parents, teachers, and schools. There are many risks that we have aware in the use of digital technologies. Number 1, exposure to inappropriate content. Exposure to inappropriate content like pornography, extremism, exposure to violence associated with racist language. Number 2, lifestyle websites include self-harms, suicide sites, and hate sites where you can find a lot of bashers that will ruin your image and reputation. Number 3, cyberbullying in all forms includes receiving sexually explicit images or messages. Number 4 is privacy issues. This will include disclosure of personal information. Someone will dig some information about you and use it to scam you or to put you in danger. Number 5 is health and well-being. The amount of time spent online, internet gaming, and many more can harm your health and well-being. As we know, it is dangerous to stay up all night using technologies. Worst of it is we can get some illness. Alright, so let's go to number 6. Prolonged exposure. Prolonged exposure to online technologies, particularly at an early age, just like have you observed kids nowadays? Kids ages 3 to 7 years old are already exposed to technologies, and that is bad. Number 7, theft and fraud. Theft and fraud activities such as phishing through online. There are some people fool other people to get money from their bank accounts, or through scamming. Number 8 is addiction to gambling and gaming. Gambling and gaming are also risks in digital technologies. Some mobile games like Sabong apps, it includes money, so it is gambling, and it will turn to addiction so that people cannot stop playing this thing anymore. Number 9, viruses, trojans, spyware, and other malware. These issues is very common nowadays. It really have some viruses, and it will cause your software to malfunction and result to corrupted files. All your information was hacked, and it will put you in danger because maybe someone will use it to scam you in return for money. Number 10, social pressure. Pressure to maintain online networks via texting and social networking sites. As a teenager, we can't deny this one on a social pressure. We always wanted to look good in our pictures. We're seeking full validation to other people. We keep on looking how many likes our pictures get and how many people commented in it. It is a social pressure. Pressuring yourself just for the standards of the society. In summary, the implications for teaching and learning in the 21st century for teachers involve a shift towards more technology integrated, personalized, and adaptable approaches. They must be digitally literate, open to change, and continuously engage in professional development to best serve their students in this rapidly evolving education landscape.
Thank you for that, Miss Maxalom. So, I am Zanesel Cuevas, and I will be discussing the 5 minor misuse of ICT. So, first is copying information into an assignment and failing to acknowledge the source. So this refers to the act of using someone else's work or ideas without giving them proper credit. So it is considered plagiarism and is a form of academic dishonesty. So for example, if a student copies and pastes paragraphs from a website into their essay without citing the source, so it would be an example of this misconduct. So number 2, downloading materials not relevant to their studies. Okay, so this refers to the act of downloading or accessing materials that are unrelated to the subject or courses a student is studying. So it can be considered a form of distraction and can hinder the student's focus on their studies. So here's an example. If a student is supposed to be researching for a history assignment, but instead downloads and spends time playing video games like Mobile Legends, Valorant, Dota, Call of Duty, also ebook and Wattpad. So instead of using the ICT into studies, it is used in downloading to applications and materials not related and relevant to their studies. So number 3, misconduct associated with subject logins such as using someone else's password. So it is the act of accessing or using someone else's login credentials without their permission. So it is a violation of privacy and can also result in unfair advantages in academic settings. So for example, if a student uses a classmate's login and completes assignments on their behalf, also using someone else's password to make fun of others, and worst is to scam, which is very relevant nowadays. So number 4, leaving a mobile phone turned on during class period. So this refers to the act of not turning off or putting a mobile phone on silent mode during class time. So it can be disruptive to the learning environment and can distract both the student and others around them. Okay, so here's an example. If a student's phone rings loudly during a lecture and interrupts the class, so it would cause distraction and wasting of energy. So number 5, unauthorized taking of pictures or images with a mobile camera, still or moving. So this refers to the act of capturing images or videos without permission or in situations where it is prohibited. So it can infringe on privacy, violate rules, or be disruptive. So for example, if a student takes pictures of their classmates during a test without their consent, so also taking pictures of nurses and other medical personnel without asking permission is also against their privacy. Now we will tackle about e-safety. So with all the above concerns and many more, how do we confront all of this so as to protect our future generation? So, e-safety takes care not only of internet technologies but also of electronic communications via mobile phones, game consoles, and wireless technology. So it highlights the need to educate children and young people about the benefits, risks, and responsibilities of using information technology. So here are some issues of e-safety. So first, e-safety helps safeguard children and young people in the digital world. So this means that e-safety measures and practices are implemented to protect children and young people from potential online dangers such as cyberbullying, grooming, or exposure to inappropriate content. So for example, schools may have filters in place to block access to harmful websites or teach students about online privacy and security. Number 2, e-safety emphasizes learning to understand new technologies in a positive way. So this means that e-safety aims to promote a positive and responsible use of technology. It encourages individuals to develop their digital skills and knowledge so they can effectively navigate and utilize the digital world. So, for example, e-safety education may include teaching students about the importance of online etiquette, critical thinking skills, and digital citizenship. So, number three, e-safety educates children about the risks as well as the benefits so we can feel confident online. So, this means that e-safety education not only focuses on the potential risks and dangers online, but also highlights the benefits and opportunities that technology can offer. So, by being aware of the risks and understanding how to mitigate them, so individuals can feel more confident and empowered while using the internet. So, for example, e-safety lessons may cover topics such as online privacy, cyberbullying prevention, and responsible social media use. So, number four, e-safety supports young learners and adults to develop safer online behaviors. So, both in and out of school. So, this means that e-safety initiatives aim to promote safe online behaviors not only within the school environment but also in other settings such as homes or public spaces. So it recognizes the importance of consistency and ongoing education to ensure individuals are equipped with the necessary skills to stay safe online. So for example, parents and caregivers may be provided with resources and guidance on how to set up parental controls or engage in open discussions with their children about their online activities. Moving on, we will tackle the network management. So, safety in the use of network in school. First, make clear that no one should log on as another user. So, this means that it should be communicated to all users that they should not use someone else's login credentials to access the system. So, this is important for maintaining security and ensuring accountability. So, for example, a user should not use their colleague's username and password to access a computer or an application. Number two, require all users to always log off when they have finished working. So, users should be instructed to log off from their accounts or devices when they are done using them. So, this ensures that unauthorized individuals cannot access the system or the user's personal information. So, here's an example. So a student should log off from their school computer when they are finished using it, preventing others from accessing their files or accounts. Number three, maintain equipment to ensure health and safety. So regular maintenance should be performed on computer equipment to ensure that it is in good working condition and does not pose any health or safety risks. So this may involve cleaning hardware, checking cables for damage, and ensuring proper ventilation. So, for example, computers in a computer lab should be regularly cleaned to remove dust and debris, which can affect their performance and cause health issues. Number four, provide students with access to content and resources through guided e-learning. So this means that students should be given access to educational content and resources through an e-learning platform or system. So the access should be guided, meaning that there should be appropriate supervision or instruction to help students navigate and use the resources effectively. So for example, a school may provide students with access to an online library of educational videos and assign a teacher to guide them in using videos for learning. Number five, set up a clear disaster recovery system in place for critical data that includes secure remote backup of critical data. So, a disaster recovery system refers to a set of processes and measures put in place to protect and recover critical data in the event of disaster or data loss. So, this includes regularly backing up data to secure remote locations so that data can be restored if it is lost or damaged. So, for example, a school may use cloud storage to automatically back up important student records and files to a secure remote server. Number 6, secure wireless network to appropriate standards suitable for educational use. So this means that the school's wireless network should be configured and secured according to industry standards to ensure that it is safe and suitable for educational use. So this may involve implementing encryption protocols, using strong passwords, and restricting access to unauthorized users. So for example, a school may use WPA2 encryption and require students and staff to enter a unique password to connect to the school's Wi-Fi network. Number 7, install a computer equipment professionally and meet health and safety standards. So when setting up computer equipment, it should be done professionally and compliance with health and safety standards. So this ensures that the equipment is installed correctly and does not pose any risk to users. So for example, computers should be properly grounded and placed in ergonomic positions to prevent strain or injury to users. Number 8, review the school ICT system regularly with regard to health and safety and security. So the school's ICT or information and communications technology system should be regularly reviewed to assess its compliance with health and safety and security requirements. So this may involve conducting audits, performing risk assessments, and implementing necessary updates for improvements. So for example, the school's IT department may periodically review the network infrastructure, software applications, and security protocols to identify any vulnerabilities and make necessary enhancements. So next, password policy. So only authorized users will have individual passwords. Users are not permitted to disclose their passwords unless they get permission from the owner or from the management. So the equipment that keeps the personal information shall be locked when unattended to prevent unauthorized access. So computers should be set to a timeout if they become unused for a certain period of time. Next, personal mobile phones and mobile devices. So all mobile phones shall be kept away in a box away from the children or learners, and access is only allowed at break time or at the end of classes or when needed during the class period. So using cell phones or mobile devices during class can cause distraction and can hinder the students' learnings and focus. Next is cameras. So taking pictures only from parents or caregivers and not from any other family member or friends while the child attends class. So any picture taken of children shall be on cameras solely for the purpose. Our last topic is setting up an educational technology room. So schools that plan to dedicate a room where the students can access technologies for learning should include the following basic safety rules. So number 1, provide tiltable tables. So these tables can be tilted and adjusted to the height of the users. Number 2, provide anti-glare screen chairs. Number 3, provide adjustable chairs. Number 4, provide foot support. Number 5, make sure workstations are not cramped. Number 6, make sure lighting is suitable. And number 7, plan work at a computer so that there are frequent breaks. So more specifically, safety rules that can reduce risk of accidents in the working stations should include number 1, no trailing wires across or around the room which people can trip on. Number 2, electrical sockets should not be overloaded. Number 3, electrical equipment should be safety tested at least once a year. Number 4, there should be adequate space around desks for people to move. Number 5, bugs and obstacles should be stored out of the way. Number 6, food and drinks should not be placed near machines. Number 7, heating and ventilation should be suitable for working environment. So number 8, fire extinguishers should be available. Number 9, fire exit should be clearly marked and free from clutter. So, this is the end of our report. Thank you all for listening.